Hi everyone, this is Patty from Metaphysical Insight, and I want to talk a little bit today about what happens when we die and where do we go. I've had several clients, ask those questions. And so, of course, like the scientific explanation and the doctor explanation is the brain dies, that's it. Maybe we do an autopsy, find out what the cause of death was. And then some people get cremated, some people get buried, in the ground, depending on, or in a mausoleum, depending on what their wishes were. I'm going to talk about the metaphysical and the spiritual ends of things. I am going to let you know my experiences on it, what my guides tell me. I just want to start off because I'm going to use the word, the term, the collective. The collective, my collective is God, and you could, if it's the universe for you or the divine, whatever you use, or you go by. I go by with God. It is God. It is Jesus. It is Mother Mary. It is the ascended masters, my ancestors. It is the archangels, the guardian angels, my guardian angels, and my guides. And so that I've decided to call the collective because I speak to all of them, or I deal with all of them together or separately. But when I want to speak to all of them, I'll say he, the collective. So the information that I got about, what happens when we die is just say you're home in bed or lying in a hospital bed or something like that. And I've been told that sometimes for some people, before the body actually dies, okay, before it's actually done, before the brain stops, before all of that, for some people, the soul is already leaving the body, okay, or have left the body actually. And for others, it takes for everything to stop in the body and then their soul leaves the body. I don't see it like we see on TV, where you see the person laying there, and then you see them as white. It looks just like them, and they lift out of the body, and then they go on their way. I don't see it that way. We're energy. It could be white light. It could be actually that. I do see it that way as well. But we're all energy, and an energy lifts up and leaves the body, not in what we physically look like in form as we are on the earthly plane. When there is now in everybody, it's not going to be exactly the same because we're all individuals. I can tell you this too, because I've been asked this question too. Are we leaving there alone? Is there anybody to greet us? There is always someone to greet the person passing over or have just passed over. It could be a family member. It could be a good friend. It could even be a pet. It could be Jesus, anyone. It could be Mother Mary. It could be anyone. If lots of people that are Catholic will see their saints. So again, it's going to be, I'm getting cold chills, it's a definite. And so it's going to be different for everybody. And interestingly, too, I want to share this little story with you. And I want to say just prior to that is that some of us are like, oh my God, I missed, my loved one passing over. I feel really bad, hate me or something like that. No, because there are some souls that do not want either anyone around them when they pass, or they don't want certain people, like their loved ones, for whatever reason it is, because it may be too much for that person or people to actually see their loved one pass away. So Don't feel guilty or bad about that. I've done many mediumship readings, and the loved ones, they just always tell me that, and it's true. I just already know that. And so anyway, my mom, when she was passing away, my sister and I were there. That she was in a hospital bed, and she was there, and I could feel her. She leaned over on me, and it was the weirdest thing. Like her arm, I felt her arm, and it just felt like it was like if you went to the grocery store and picked up a piece of meat. It just felt like that. It was like the weirdest, strange feeling. She was alive and okay. And my mom said, go back home. And my sister and I flew back to our places where we lived. And that night, it was that night, I can't remember now because it was like, 19 years ago. That night, or it was, I believe it was almost that night or the next night, I was taking a shower, and my eyes closed, and I saw in my mind's eye my mother from like this part up, okay, and she passed through, coming through in the shower. She was at a profile. She turned and looked at me and turned back at profile and kept going. And I knew at that moment my mom had just passed away at that moment. When I got downstairs, it was just like, I don't know, a few minutes, 5-10 minutes later, my aunt called and said, your mom just passed away. And she told us that she was actually in a room with her sister, in a room with her and my aunt's husband and my mom's, partner, her boyfriend, her man, was there in the room with her as well too. And my aunt said that my mom was looking straight ahead, and she said, "No, I don't want to go." I mean, I'm getting a little choked up here. She said, "No, I don't want to go." So that is validation that there's someone too that is waiting to bring you crossing over on the other side. Excuse me, I just need a moment. And so we are energy, and we go into energy. And so at times there is there's a processing that we do when we get where we get. So I'm going to call it heaven because most people, they call it heaven. They know it is heaven. Okay, we're all looking to the sky, and that's heaven to us. So it's going over our lives with God and Jesus and whoever you believe in. Okay, maybe your guides, your angels, everyone. It's getting you ready and understanding where you are and what's happened to you. Then at that point, and I don't want to forget this as well too, I want to tell you when I do the mediumship readings too. Then at that point, you can take a form. You can take a form. There are choices too. There are choices to come back to this earthly plane. There are choices to stay as energy and, be a guardian angel to one of your loved ones, your friends. There are choices that we have, or there's a choice to, go help others, or stay and just, be around our loved ones and be there when they need us. There are choices that we have. I'm not sure. I mean, there are choices, but I'm not sure exactly if we're allowed to choose that. But I feel like we are. I feel like we do have that choice. When we pass over again, we could take forms. When I do mediumship readings and I connect with the loved one of my client, I can at times see, and I said this in my past video, I can at times see their loved one. If they want you to see them, they will at times show me what they looked like when, they passed over. And so my client can, they can, say, oh, yes, definitely. Or they will pick an age that they loved, that they were the healthiest, or that they had something wonderfully significant happen in their life. And they choose that age and they show me. They can show me, they can either revert back to the color hair they had if they died when they're older with gray hair. They can choose a style. They could wear clothes, whatever they want to, or they'll wear clothes that you recognize. So that's the interesting thing. So I know that for sure. So that when we pass over, we are in energy, but we can take a form. Okay. We can actually take a form, a physical form again. And so that's what happens, when we die. Only the body goes, never ever the spirit and soul. It's always around. And here's the coolest part, okay? We have no sadness. There's no sickness. There's nothing wrong anymore. There's no anger. There's no depression. There's nothing. It's all good and happy and feeling fabulous. And here's a really cool part. We can be in all different places at the same time. So say your loved one passed away and you're riding in the car and, the song comes on and just reminds you of that passed over person. That passed over person is with you. That's a sign they're there, okay, in your dreams, etc. At the same time, another loved one or a friend or whatever, that passed over loved one can be with that person or in that location, no matter where it is. It could be across in another country at the same time. It's the coolest. So, a lot of people fear dying. I understand that because it is the unknown. So the only, it is a better place when people say, oh, they're in a better place. It really, really is. And we don't ever die. We see things on this earthly plane. We visit them. We could go anywhere. We could do anything we want to do that we couldn't do. Say you never traveled in your life on the earthly plane when you were alive here. Well, hey, I want to go to Europe. I want to go to, Paris and, Italy. You can go. You can go. You can wear what you want. You can look the way you want. You don't have to look like you did when you passed over, like that body. You don't. And you could always be around your loved one. It's the most amazing. So I hope that's a help to, some people out there, what I just said, if you have fear of, passing away. I think we are still going to feel that because we don't know. But once you see, as you're passing, once you see who's there standing, waiting for you, that will help you and it'll take away all your fears. Okay. So that's what happens, when we pass over. That's where we go. We can, again, I'm going to call it heaven because that's what most people call it. Because I am myself, and actually, I'm still here on the earthly plane, but it's what I've been shown. It's what I've been told. And again, it will be a little different for everyone because what our imagination is of heaven is probably what that's going to look like when you get there. And again, not one person living on the earthly plane is going to know that until they actually do pass over. And so I hope this helps and answers questions of like, what happens when we die? Where do we go? I am happy to say that after your process, and I want to say this, I don't want to forget, okay, when I do the mediumship readings, sometimes it takes that loved one who has passed over, their processing. We don't know how long that takes. So sometimes you can't connect with them right away. Like they won't come through. They have to do deal with what's happening in heaven with them. They're processing how long that takes. And then whatever, there's no time again. Remember, there's no time in heaven, only time here on the earthly plane. And so on the earthly plane, it may take, I don't know, a day, a week, a month, a year. I don't think it goes longer than that for them to be able to come through and speak with you. but I've never had it where it took that long. As a matter of fact, some people come through immediately. They do. My neighbor just had a loved one pass away, and it was a few days later. He was pulling in his driveway, and he stopped, and we chatted a little bit. And you know, when I went, they had just buried him. They had just had the funeral service, okay, and he was coming home from that. I went in my house, and his loved one came to me immediately, and gave me some messages for him. And I was able to relay those messages to my lovely neighbor, who's still on the earthly plane. It was his brother. And he said, yes. He goes, that's him. That is him. So getting cold chills, definitely. He comes around. And I was very happy and thrilled to be able to pass the message on, to his living brother here. But my point is that he was even at his own service, watching everything. My point is that it doesn't take forever or a year or a week or a month, for someone to come through to speak to us on the earthly plane. They can come through immediately. So sometimes we get dreams, like the night my mom passed away. I woke up and I went in my bathroom and I just sat down, and I sat in the dark, and I was very sad. And all of a sudden I felt someone, your loved one will come on the earthly plane, and they'll put their hand on your hair and they'll brush your hair, or like to caress you and console you. I felt that. And I was like, and I could smell her perfume, and I knew it was my mom. That was immediate she came through. And so I just want you to know that it's not a painful process for them. If someone's in pain, I'm saying that pain before they die is gone. It's just gone. It's not due to any meds that they're taking to take their pain away. It's due to none of that stuff. The pain is immediately gone. Immediately. And their energies, soul leaves that body. Okay, it's gone, and they just become this energy. And then when they get where they go, at some point they could choose to be in a physical body again. Like I said, they could show you in physical form again, or they can choose whatever they want, or they could choose. And when they're done with you, they could choose to go into energy form again, to whatever they're doing, and wherever they're going. And then they could choose to show up their physical form again. I'm telling you, I know, because I experience this stuff. I see it. I am a psychic medium. There's no reason for me to make up things. I experienced it. I just know. And I have experienced things my own self. So I do know what I'm saying is absolutely true. And again, it will be a little tweaking different for some people, but basically it is exactly what I just told you. So I hope this helps. And if you have any other questions, please feel free. You can put the question in the box below, and I will be very happy to try and answer anything that any question that you might pose to me. So again, thank you so much. I hope you appreciated this. I certainly appreciate all of you. Take care and have a wonderful day.